change monitors and some other options there. District-wide initiatives such as community schools, strategic planning, leadership, and school improvement. Coming back and not using our internal audit waiver and reinstating the annual risk management. There's a fourth psychologist that we brought in this current year that'll be in next year's budget. Still to this minute, we're estimating CPI transportation costs at 7%. There are some non-filled positions from this year's budget that are still in this version. And last but not least, there's 3 positions that are new positions to the district that we funded through the American Rescue Plan that we are bringing back into the general fund this year. We could have opted to pay for them in one more year, but eventually if the positions are worth it, you got to bring them back in. And my opinion is we don't wait. But in 2 weeks' time, we've whittled the budget down by $400,000. One position, a social worker that was in the original, which we have yet to fill this year, is out. I had talked about buying a new vehicle. Looking at my fund balance for this current year, I am going to buy that with this year's money, so we were able to take that out of the budget. I presented a $50,000 records management initiative. I've whittled that down to $10,000. Doing a deeper trend analysis in technology and energy. Technology is always a tough one for me because it's ever growing and ever expanding. Looking through our past few budgets, we have never quite expensed all of our technology budgets for a variety of reasons. One of them had to do with the American Rescue Funds, which has helped us a lot working with the tech department and Aaron. And then energy. You're going to see we do have a reduction in fuel. Now that the fuel bid's in from this year, even though they're still astronomically high, but we do have a reduction there. And really looking at our electricity bills, building by building, the building energy performance contract, which he initiated a couple years ago, is starting to really now show the savings in electrical costs for energy. Breakage. What is breakage? Breakage is the district's money. I always call it my money. When somebody leaves or retires and you hire whatever, with breakage is the difference between this salary and that salary. This year I've included it. Remember, when I first went into the budget, I talked about a rollover. That meant everybody that was working here is working here again next year, even they may have planned for retirement. So now I make the adjustments there. In the central administration area, some of the district-wide initiatives, because trying to take them all on at once may not have been possible. So we met and we sort of took a few of them out, and we'll move forward with them the following year. The revenue, we went through this a little bit, but the tax cap, I want to make sure everybody has a good understanding of that, why I don't believe we should max out our tax cap. Last year, we had the ability to raise taxes a lot more than we did. That leftover money is a carryover, which increased our tax cap this year. You have to use a portion of it, otherwise you may lose it altogether. Taxes is a scary thing to watch. Where do your revenue come? When you give up revenue and can't get it back, it's difficult. By using a percentage of that, that carryover will still be in effect if needed for next year. So what does the future hold for us? We have 2 board meetings between now and when the budget has to be adopted. We have a March 30th board meeting. At that time, we'll go through the contingency budget. It's done, but I don't want to put the cart before the horse here yet. And the property tax cap report card. And we have an April 11th board meeting. Selfish, personal, I would love to adopt the budget on the 30th. I was talking with Aaron a little bit today. The state, they're up there talking. They're beating each other up a little bit. The pundits are guessing 50-50 whether or not there's a budget on time. My personal belief is that the dollar value of the budget is real critical to me. What are we looking to spend before how are we going to pay for it? We have an anticipated increase of $300,000 in state aid. Is it possible the final budget negates that? Yes. If that were to be the case, with applied reserve fund balance being real careful in how we handle it, we could cover that in a year. So, and the personal reason I like to get this done has to do with customer service. March 30th, the board adopts the current budget. March 31st, my printer has all the information they need. They're ready to go, and things will get back to us. The hardest part of this is that we actually go pick it up from the printers in Norwich and come back and do away with the bulk mailing, because the bulk mailing is very slow, slower than it used to be. So if we adopt early enough, we usually have any problem making it the information to our taxpayers before the budget hearing. If we wait till the 11th, on April 12th, do the same thing, but now we're in the queue with everybody else. They usually will get it done by then, but like I said, it's just like I said, it's selfish on my part. But the newsletter is real important. I am happy to say this year, working with Cap Region BOCES, we have a new template, which I think is going to be exciting. One of the things we've addressed this year is our branding, and this will be like one of our publication branding things, and it's going to look a lot more professional, and we're working with them. Okay, any questions?
What you've proposed so far, you have not cut any curriculum or added any, have we?
We have not cut any curriculum.
Okay. How about the arts? Have we cut any of the arts?
But our goal here, usually every year, thank God in our times and thank God in this district, we don't discuss cutting hardly anything. Any of the programs, I believe a budget should be driven by student needs and what students want. So and thank God the administrative team here is always looking to make sure that our students have the programs they need. I think Mr. Pulley talked about all the electives. So we have no cuts.
Have we added electives?
Yes, I think Mr. Pulley went through, I think last time they've gone through and really
Okay, I
added
just
some
wanna know if
electives,
it
the
was part of the
ability
budget,
for
if it
students
was
to have
covered.
them.
Also, the athletics, we haven't cut any athletics, and extracurricular. Anything extracurricular, we have not cut anything there.
No plans to cut anything.
Good, thank you.
Anything else? So I would say if any information really comes across my desk and any alterations that I feel are necessary to this budget, I will get them to you immediately. If you have any questions and or concerns, please don't hesitate to contact Aaron and I, and we'll try to address them immediately. And like I said, this pushing of my personal wish of March 30th, it's completely up to the board. April 11th is your drop dead date to adopt the budget. And, that's just where it is. Okay, anything else? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Whitaker. Next item up is item number 7, is the superintendent's report by Mrs. Erin Long.
Good evening again. A couple thank yous. I wanted to say thank you to Mr. Whitaker for preparing our 23-24 budget and his patience with helping me learn more about the process. As Mr. Dean just said, Mr. Whitaker has done an excellent job with fiscally responsible decision-making, but also ensuring that our student programs are fully funded and supported. So no cuts on kids. That's great. Today I attended a meeting at Ulster BOCES and Regent Wills came. A lot of advocacy is happening from all the educational groups with regards to free breakfast and lunch for all students in New York State. So we are hoping for some good news in the upcoming weeks when the final stages of the final budget has released. I also want to thank our community for their support and their feedback regarding the closure of school. These are usually difficult decisions to make and made with very careful guidance from our highway departments. And I also want to say a thank you to Preston Kelly. Although I've not met him personally yet, He's been the last person I talked to at night and the first person I talked to in the morning. So he has been very helpful in making these decisions. And I appreciate all of his help. As I have mentioned in the remote learning plan that we released the other day, moving forward, it will look much different for the next year. We are obligated by the state to have a plan in place as part of our district safety plan. And so we're forming that committee now to get that going. So I do appreciate all the feedback that I've received. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Long. The next item is item 8, and it is, are there any items the board wants pulled from tonight's agenda? Okay, we're going to go to item 9, which is the consent agenda. Can I have a motion for the approval of the consent agenda, recommended action, including the business portion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Pat, second by Rose. Please proceed to vote.
Yay.
Is everybody back on? Everybody's in? Mama, we good? Pat? Unanimous? That's unanimous. Be it resolved, the board approves the consent agenda, recommended action, including the business portion, items A through J. Thank you. Next item is, item 10 is board committee reports. We have a series of policies we need to take a look at. Our first one is 10A, is policy review summary sheet as of March 16th, 2023. It's for information only. 10B is policy 4321.12, use of timeout rooms, physical restraints, and aversives. Second reading and adoption. It's an action. Can I have a motion to accept the use of timeout rooms, physical restraints, and aversives?
So move.
Motion by George. Do I have a second? Second by Tim. Any discussion?
Yes. I just wanted to bring up, I was hoping that we could actually table this policy and B, C, and D. I'm hoping the policy committee can review the term timeout rooms and consider using the terminology of a de-escalation room instead. I'm not against the policies, just the terminology and the fact that it can be viewed as something punitive.
Okay, so did everyone get that? That Rose has concerns about the title. I mean, I could recommend that we do a tabling for that, but I just want to give everyone a little bit of history. We have 3 policies actually, but we'll talk about the one that's on the table. This policy has been around since 2014. It's approved annually at our July organizational meeting. We have reached out to our attorney, and they have the opinion is that they do not recommend changing the use of that timeout room name. But if we have, which we don't actually have a timeout room because we don't have the level of special ed that it would be needed. We have timeout, what they call timeout, which is something different, which is basically a room with someone can just, whatever's available, they can just take a few minutes to get themselves in order and back to education. But we do not have the actual timeout room as referenced in this policy. There's 3 policies are mandated that we have them, even though we don't have the room. Okay? So I don't know, does the board want to table this for, let's say, 1 or 2 meetings? If Rose has some information she wants to bring back and
If I,
discuss, or do you want to vote on it? What do you want to do?
if I may, Mr. Strucker, maybe go into a little detail of how the committee acted on this and the time we took. It was about an hour and a half, an hour and 3/4 totally. And we did spend a lot of time on this and talking. And before we go over these, we always know that the attorneys have reviewed this. So we're comfortable in that way as far as being legal. But we did spend a substantial amount of time on this. And I applaud a board member for asking those questions. I think that's important. But I think right now, with the attorney speaking for us, and under the circumstances we have, I think the terminology fits what we have. I have not seen that anywhere, that terminology, Rose. If you could provide that to us, and some school has it, then I'd we should look into a little bit more. But we did not find that. The assessment room.
There are many different terminologies that can be used, but a de-escalation room is one of the more common ones. At where I work, we have an assessment room or a sensory room, but there are many options that don't sound punitive.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but with the state law, which I've heard many times, that we have to go with what's really the attorney is advising us. So, look, if the board wants to look at it again, it would have to go back to the committee, and we'd have to have something to look at for a reason. So if somebody has something that we can go on, and you've got some examples, I can't only speak for myself, but there's other policy members here on the committee, and maybe they should share some of their thoughts as well. Thank you.
I mean, if we were to have a room like this, internally, we could have a different name internally, but not on the policy. The attorneys recommend it stays the way it is. So
If we have a motion and a second, I think we have to put it to a vote.
to do the vote.
To accept.
Okay, does someone want to, you're saying you don't want to table it. We want to go to vote?
Yeah, I believe George made the motion to vote and I second it, which means that I guess it has to go to a full board vote.
Correct. Okay, so I didn't hear, George, you made the question, was motion to vote?
Yeah, I made the motion to vote.
Okay, I did not hear that, sorry. All right, so we have a motion and a second by Tim. Please proceed to vote.
Yay.
Who are we missing? 3 yays and 8 yays and 1 no. Okay, be it resolved, the board reviewed and adopts policy 4321.12, use of timeout rooms, physical restraints, and aversives as attached to the public portion of the agenda. Item 10C is policy 4321.12-R, regulation, use of timeout rooms, regulation, second reading and adoption. It's an action. Can I have a motion to accept the 4321.12-R regulation, use of timeout room regulation?
Motion.
Motion by Travis,
Second, being on the committee, I want to move it forward. Second.
second by George. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote.
Yay.
Eight yes, 1 no. Be it resolved, the board reviews and adopts policy 4321.12-R, regulation, use of timeout rooms, regulation, as attached to the public portion of the agenda. Next item is 10D, policy 4321.12-E, exhibit, parent notification of use of timeout room or physical/mechanical restraint, second reading and adoption. It's an action. Can I have a motion to accept that resolution?
Motion.
Motion by Travis. Second.
Second.
Second by Randy. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote.
Yay.
That's 8 yes, 1 no. Be it resolved, the board reviewed and adopts policy 4321.12-E, exhibit, parent notification of use of timeout room or physical/mechanical restraint as attached to the public portion of the agenda. Thank you. Next item is 10E, policy 4327, homebound instruction, second reading and adoption. It's an action. Can I have a motion to accept the policy 4327, homebound instruction? Motion.
Motion.
Second.
By Travis, second by George. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote.
Yay.
That's unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved, the board reviewed and adopts policy 6830, expense reimbursement, as attached to the public portion of the agenda. Next item up is policy G, 6830-R, regulation, expense reimbursement, regulation, second reading and adoption. It's an action. Can I have a motion to accept the policy 6830-R regulation expense reimbursement.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Please proceed to vote.
Yay.
That's unanimous. Be it resolved, the board reviewed and adopts policy 6830R regulation, expense reimbursement regulation is attached to the public portion of the agenda. I have to go back for an oversight. Norma, do you want to revote one to straighten it out, or? Which one did we miss? Okay, so we didn't do the resolution for homebound? Is that? Okay. Okay, so we need to do a homebound resolution?
You did it, voted on it, it just when you read this, you read this. So then we just did this one, so I think we do that.
Okay, so we're gonna do policy 6830R regulation, expense reimbursement regulation, second reading and adoption.
Yeah, but we didn't vote on it. We voted on 6830. But you had it there.
Okay, so it's an action. Can I have a motion to accept 6830R regulation expense reimbursement?
So move.
Motion by George, second by Pat. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote.
Yay.
Norma, are you sending anything?
No, you already voted on 4327. You're doing 6830-R. Yeah, policy, the G. Yep. Yep.
Okay. Okay, next item up is item 10, letter H, policy 9645, disclosure of wrongful conduct, parentheses, whistleblower policy, second reading and adoption. It's an action. Can I have a motion to accept policy 9645, disclosure of wrongful conduct?
Motion.
Motion by Travis, second by Tim. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote.
Yay.
It's unanimous. Okay, be it resolved, the board reviewed and adopts policy 9645, disclosure of wrongful conduct whistleblower policy is attached to the public portion of the agenda. Move along to item number 11, old business. Don't believe we have anything for old business tonight. Moving to item 12, public comment session for items that are not on tonight's agenda. I think we have one speaker tonight, and Mr. Martin Carmody. If you want to step up to the podium, please, and turn on the microphone. Welcome.
You guys can all hear me all right? So in the interest of saving time,
Push the button.
I did. Can you hear me?
There you
I
go.
guess I got to lean into this. In the interest of saving time, I gave you guys all a copy of the email conversation I had with the superintendent. Hopefully you had a chance to read it. I mean, if you look at the date at the top, you'll see it was only March 1st and March 2nd. So today's the 16th. What am I doing here? I should let the process work. Takes a little time. Well, the reason I'm here is my daughter asked me a question that I can't answer. She wants to know when her punishment for going on vacation is going to end. Because yesterday was all-star selections and she was passed over. I'm kind of upset, as you can tell, because my daughter gives 110% all the time. Going on vacation with your family should not be a crime. I guess it is at Tri-Valley. So what do? You have a coach, his opinion. You have a parent, his opinion. That's why I'm at the board. I would ask you guys to come up with a policy of discipline for coaches. When they can discipline a student and for how long. Because this was a month ago. She didn't get to play in her sectional game, which devastated her. And now yesterday she's punished again by being denied an accolade that she deserved. She was picked by Section 9, top 50, by surrounding coaches. But her coach didn't select her for the All-Star team recognition yesterday. It's wrong. You shouldn't have to suffer for going on vacation. And I can't answer the question, how long is this grudge going to last? She's 15. She shouldn't have to worry about how long she can be punished for going on vacation. So the only thing I could suggest is that you guys come up with a plan of what a coach should discipline for and how long. For example, somebody's late, they get lunch detention after a certain amount. If they're late again, they get after school detention. But it's not unfettered. There's a system in place. Because this discipline format has ruined my daughter's season she worked hard for, and a lot of her teammates. And it's wrong. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carmody. Okay, next item up is item 13, announcements, reminders, and events. Do we have anything anyone wants to speak about? Sure, Mr. Police, please.
Couple of things just to remind you of. With the weather impacting of this week, it has forced us to postpone some things. The Music in Our Schools concert will be held next Tuesday evening, the 21st, at 7 o'clock. With our Color Wars, which is for our 7th and 8th grade students, this was their Spirit Week, and tomorrow should have been the Color Wars competition. With having the equivalent of 2.5 days of school off this week, we thought it best to postpone that. So that will occur the Spirit Week, March 27th through the 31st, with the Color Wars competition on Friday, the 31st, periods 7 through 9. Tomorrow we will have Congressman Mark Molinaro join us with our Civics and Social Justice class. And next Friday, Assemblyman Brian Mayer will be joining us, and he'll be touring the building beginning at about 1:30. The next 2 weeks are very busy. Next week, we have our FCCLA students who, for the first time in probably 3 to 4 years, are going out to an FCCLA conference, which will be held at the Villa Roma. It is Spirit Week for the high school next week, and the class competition will be Friday night, the 24th, from 6 to 9 p.m. And then the week right before break is very busy with Monday, the 27th, our Junior National Honor Society induction at 6 o'clock. Tuesday is our National Honor Society induction at 7 o'clock. Wednesday, the 29th, is our Poetry Slam. And Wednesday, the 29th, during the school day, we will have our annual pre-calc presentations. So you're more than welcome to come and join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pulley. Ms. Williams, would you like to come up?
Thank you and good evening. I'm going to do a little bit of a flashback, being as I'm trying to remind myself after all of the weather what we've been up to. I'd like to thank the TVTA for their Dinner and a Story event, which was the culminating event for our Read Across America and Dr. Seuss celebration that evening. And it's open to everyone, but really that is in particular for elementary school students. And as far as I could see, there was a wonderful turnout, including secondary school students who volunteered their time to help serve dinner that night. I had students that were still seeing me today talking about how they saw me when they were eating their spaghetti. So clearly it left a mark on them, and the books that they were able to pick from, I just wanted to make sure that that was known appreciation for the TVTA continuing to do that. Music in Our Schools Month, as Mr. Pulley said, it will be scheduled for next Tuesday. We do have a plan to be able to keep the students fresh and all the lyrics in their minds, so they will have some added chorus practices to be sure that they're prepared for next Tuesday. And moving forward, I have one other thing looking back. We had our superintendent conference day on the 10th, which was Friday. I was a huge proponent in making sure that that day was able to maintain and keep on schedule. And it was rewarding in the sense that as I was present in many of the trainings, but one in particular, being able to hear the independent consultant as well as the ARC representative talk about how far along our teachers have come since the beginning of the year, and that the progress that she has seen and the amount of work that the teachers have put into really learning this reading program is work that she has not seen in districts in a very long time. So, that's a little bit more kudos to our staff. So thank you for letting me do a little flashback. Flashing forward, we are preparing for New York State testing for ELA as well as math. We had our proctor training today with the staff of all the testing grades for grades 3 through 6. That is required by the state that we provide that proctor training to our teachers. Any teachers that missed it today, I'll be sure to have meetings set up to meet with them to be sure that we're following all the testing protocols for the testing season that's upcoming. Those dates will be published, as well as letters going home to families, making sure that they are aware of when those exams will be taking place. And that will be in April after the spring break. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Okay, next item on the agenda is item 14. It is new business. And the first item up is item 14A, contract for health and welfare services 2022 to 2023, Tri-Valley CSD and Goshen CSD. It is an action. And can I have a motion to approve the contract for health and welfare services 2022-23, Tri-Valley CSD and Goshen CSD? Have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Danielle.
Second.
Second by Rose. Any discussion?
I said, quick discussion on this. So I see here, all services performed by a physician, annual medical inspections, examination for athletic participation, This has been something that I know we've dealt with for the last like 2 years, specifically after COVID, where athletes are getting cleared by their own doctor. Do we have to have a physician that if my child comes into the school with a note from their doctor that says they are healthy to participate, do we have to have a physician verify another physician's work? Or is that something that we do as like an add-on? Does that, yeah, I don't know, and that's why I'm,
If you come with a doctor's note, like your physical form, and you're cleared to play, you should be cleared to play.
okay. And I think currently what's happening is if you come with a doctor's note, you still have to get approval from the school doctor. And I don't know if that's something we have to do or something we can look into, but
I should look into that more. I don't know if somebody comes back in to play that's been excused, if the nurses wait for our doctor just to once over that. But let me get an answer for you on that.
excellent. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, please proceed to vote.
Yay.
That's unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved, the board approves the contract for health and welfare services between Tri-Valley Central School District and the Goshen Central School District for 2022 to 2023. Next item up is 14B, appointment administrative intern. It's an action. Can I have a motion to appoint the administrative intern?
Motion.
Motion by Rose, second.
Second.
Second by Travis. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote.
Yay.
It's unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved, the board approves the appointment of Nicole Pringle to the position of administrative intern for the time period of April 3rd, 2023 through June 30th, 2023. Next item is 14C, resignation for the purpose of retirement. It's an action. Can I have a motion to accept the resignation for the purpose of retirement? Motion by Randy, second.
Second.
Second by Travis. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote.
Yay.
That's unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved, the board accepts David Pulley's letter of resignation for the purpose of retirement from his position in the district dated and received March 16th, 2023, effective June 30th, 2023. And the Board of Education extends our congratulations on your retirement, Mr. Pulley. Okay, item 14D, appointment, acting principal, secondary school per diem. Can I have a motion to accept the appointment of the acting principal for the secondary school? Motion by Tim, second.
Second.
Second by Travis. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote.
Yay.
That's unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools that the Board of Education at its March 16th, 2023 meeting approves the appointment of Margaret Tenbus as acting principal, secondary school per diem. Per diem rate is $650 per day, effective April 3rd, 2023. Next item is item 15, board comment section, a session. We'll go around the room, and if anyone has any comments, Brent, Travis, George.
If I may, thank you. I'd like to thank the board for the policy accepting them. We did work very hard, and it was vetted by the attorney. And even though it was vetted by attorney, we read every single one of them, and we had some thoughts, and it really made us, I think, better board members. You share that? Thank you.
A lot of work.
It was. We put a lot of time in that,
I
but there's more to do. There's more to do. I was invited to take part in a debate on the water quality, and I was invited by Mr. Haynes. And what it was a group of kids that debated the quality of water and what has happened over the years from the watershed area to New York City. I was impressed with the kids' knowledge and also their engagement in it. And I think that's a formidable project, and I thank you for being part of it. Thank you. I'd like to thank the medical staff here at Tri-Valley, all the nurses that were honored tonight. I know most of them. Some of them have been here, well, not as long as I have, but they've been here a long time. So thank you. And if I may continue that on, there was an event, a medical event at the administration office not too long ago. And I found, what I heard anyway and saw, was a very expertise in the way things went in regards to the medical procedure, with Mrs. And our superintendent, Mrs. Long at the helm, and Mr. Stryker, and the staff at Tri-Valley. The parents and staff, make no mistake, we have a very good program here at Tri-Valley to take care of our kids. So don't worry about our kids. They're taken care of very well by our staff. I may add to that, our emergency personnel from our community, they were there in a heartbeat, so I was told, or lack of one anyway. But we should be proud of what we have in our community and support them. We mentioned some individuals that we approved for employment at Tri-Valley. I'd like to welcome them to our family, and the best of luck. Thank you so much for picking Tri-Valley. And last but not least is a thought, which I brought the first time I came on the board here in July, that to try to keep our parents engaged with our children, and to try to have our events that we can have in the evening hours for the parents and the staff that has those kids, and be able to participate at that time. And specifically, I'm asking about the pre-K moving up and also the 6th grade moving up. just a thought, having them in the evening, the parents can attend. And I think that would go over very well if we could have it then. I don't know what the plan is, but it's just a thought. I think I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Rose?
All right. I just wanted to let the policy committee know that I appreciate everything you guys do, and I'm not discounting your efforts, and I'm fully in support of those policies. It was just the wording that I did not love. Also, I wanted to say Little League season is approaching. I know our numbers are down, but we have a really great program in our community, and I'm hoping parents can get out and get their kids signed up to participate.
Thank you, Rose. Danielle? Good.
First off, just to piggyback on what Rose said with the Little League, I see Larry and Marty in the back. They had a productive meeting tonight about girls softball, trying to generate that program, get that back for our young ladies. So thank you for the efforts. And parents, if you're watching this, if anybody watches this, you should have your kids sign up if they're interested. My daughter started a petition that had 26 first names, some last names, some nicknames. So if your kids want to play, there's going to be a program, which is great. Second, Mr. Pulley, thank you. Not an easy job, what any of you administrators do. I know that it's just, there's a lot going on here. It's a heavy lift, and I appreciate your efforts, just like I appreciate all of your efforts. And lastly, the All County concert was this past week ago. It was canceled Friday for weather, Saturday for weather. They finally got it going Sunday. It was phenomenal. Staff that led that charge, thank you. It was really great. The kids love it. It always kind of rejuvenates their love for music. And so I appreciate the efforts. That's all I have.
I just wanted to take a minute and recognize Mr. Pulley. I wanted to thank you for your years of service. I've been on the board the whole time you've been here. I know you do work incredibly hard. Your job changed in a blink of an eye with the pandemic, as for all of our staff. But I know you worked especially hard in all that you did, and I appreciate that. I wish you well in your retirement. Hope it's a long and health-filled retirement. So thank you.
Congratulations, Dave. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is item 16, adjournment. Can you have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Pat,
Second.
second by Rose. Please proceed to vote.
Yay.